Okay, this is going to be my overview of my trip to Austin, Texas. Okay, now, of course, the reason why I went to Austin, Texas was for their Austin Pride, and we'll get into that later. First of all, the airplane ride. I was checking on Uber and Lyft rides to Pittsburgh Airport, and it costs like $60 to $70 one-way trip. So I thought, no, that's way too expensive for me. And then I'd have to pay that on the way back home. And the return flight was at 10:30 at night. And I didn't think I might be able to get a ride then. So I decided to just drive myself, park my car at the airport, pay for parking, and then that way my car will be there at the airport when I land, and I can just drive myself home. So that's basically what I did. The parking at Pittsburgh Airport, let's say the closer you are to the terminal, the more money you paid. So of course, Frugal Joe, I had to pay for the cheapest parking, which if I had to do it over again, I would have gone with a little more expensive parking because of the walk that I had to do to catch my flight. Now, Pittsburgh Airport, let's put it this way, it is set up really strange. Okay, first of all, after you get from the parking lot, you get to these people movers, which I like that. But I had to go through like 5 of them to get to the terminal. And then when I got to the terminal, I had to walk another length of the airport. So I thought to myself, well, okay, I guess I have to. Now, mind you, I didn't check my bags yet. I didn't do any of that because this is the first time I ever been to the airport. Yeah, so I decided, well, TSA, go through TSA, then I'll go to check my bag, and then I'll go to the boarding. No, that's not how it worked. I waited in line to get to TSA. I went through TSA, showed them my boarding pass, showed them my ID. They let me go through. As soon as I started putting my stuff in the bins for them to go through the machine, a guard came up to me and said, excuse me, did you mean to check that bag? And I was like, yeah, I thought checking was, after TSA. He goes, no. He goes, you got to go upstairs to check your bag and then come back down here to board. And I was like, okay, thank you very much. So I collected my things, got out of line. He goes, now when you come back, he said, just come to this area here where he was, take me through TSA. I went up on the escalator, walked all the way down the terminal to Allegiant Air, weighed my bag, put the tag on it, and then she told me, she goes, oh, by the way, this flight has been moved up. They're boarding now, so you might want to hurry up. And I went like, when did they do this? I said, I didn't get a notification. I didn't get an email or anything. And she goes, oh, well, they just moved it up. And I said, okay, thank you. So here I am. I'm fast walking down the terminal again, another 15 minutes to get to the escalator. Went down the escalator, went back through TSA. Now, I had troubles going through TSA because I had some change in my my shorts pocket. And I didn't think anything, and some cough drops, and I didn't think anything of it. So when you go in, I had my backpack, and in my backpack I had my laptop, and the guy said, take all electronics and put them in a separate bin. I put my phone in a separate bin, went through the scanner. It came back. He said, please remove all. And so I had to take the laptop, put them in a separate thing with my phone, take my shoes off, put my backpack in a separate bin. Then I had to go through the scanner and put my hands up, and they scanned me, and they said, step out. and I stepped out, and she goes, "Do you have anything in your pockets?" I said, "Yeah, I have some change and some cough drops." And she goes, "Remove everything out of your pockets." I mean, this girl, she was mean. I took my cough drops and the change, and I put them in a thing and for the scanner. Then I stepped back in and did the the body scan, and I cleared, went over to the other side. Now, mind you, thinking all the time, my flight is boarding right now, and I'm going through all this, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss it. They're not going to hold the plane for me. Collecting all my stuff, putting everything, trying to get everything put back together. And all the time I'm rushing, trying to get through TSA so I could get to my flight so I don't miss it. Putting on my shoes. And when I'm putting on my shoes, I realized that the change was inside my shoes. And I was like, hell with it. I just put my shoes on and started, booking to my boarding ramp. So I'm walking, and the change is like digging into the bottom of my feet, and I'm just like going, I'm going to ignore it. I got to get to this flight, because if I miss this flight, I didn't know what to do. So I had to walk another 15 minutes down this terminal to get to the tram. Now the tram took you to where the planes come in and you board. So I had to get on this tram. When I got off the tram, I started following everybody else down the terminal. Now, the change that was in my shoes was starting to bother me, so I went off to the side, took my shoe off, took the change out, and then I started following all the people down the terminal. Now, I knew Allegiant was clear at the end, so I'm walking along, looking along the sides, and I'm seeing all the other airlines waiting areas and boarding areas, and they're all empty. All of them are empty as I'm walking by. And the people that, excuse me, and the people that were ahead of me were already gone. So I'm walking along, and everything's empty. And I'm thinking to myself, I know I've missed it. I know I missed it. So I kept on walking, and then finally I saw Allegiant Air signs. And I went, yes, at least I'm in the right area now. Then finally, up ahead of me, I see this group of people. And I'm like, oh, please let this be my flight. And as I'm walking up, I'm looking, trying to see the signs to Austin, Texas. And I was like, yes, that was my flight. So I got at the end of the line, sort of said out loud to myself, saying, yes, I made it. And as soon as I said that, they started boarding. And then when I finally got to the check-in counter, had my boarding pass on my phone, tried to scan it, wouldn't scan. Did it again, wouldn't scan. Then the guy finally told me that I had to turn my phone sideways and put it in the scanner, and it finally scanned. So, lesson learned. We're all walking down the air-conditioned gangplank, which, I'm waiting in line for everybody else to get on the plane. Started going through my fanny pack, got my wallet, looked through all my wallet, no ID. Because I couldn't remember if I was holding my phone and my license together. And then when I finally got on the tram, that I stuck it in my backpack. So I unzipped all the zippers on my backpack, searched through there, and no ID, no driver's license. So I thought to myself, well, you know what, I'm not going to worry about it right now, because at least I'm, made the flight. The stewardess was up front. I showed her my boarding pass, and I said, I'm in row 25, seat E. And she goes, well, along the top, you'll see the numbers of the rows. And underneath that is the letters for the seats. And I said, oh, okay, thank you. And I finally came up to row 25, and I saw that seat E was the middle seat. And there was already a gentleman sitting in the seat by the window. I put my backpack top storage area, scooted in, and sat down next to him. For some strange reason, I just put on my seatbelt, because I never been on a flight before, and I was figuring, well, if I have my seatbelt on now, I won't forget to put it on when I'm supposed to put it on. Now, mind you, the flight was only 3 hours because it was a direct flight to Austin, Texas. But this lady next to me, she had enough food to last her for a week on that plane. So I don't know where she thought she was going. Then I found that kind of interesting. Then everybody boarded the plane. They shut the plane doors, and then the plane started taxiing down the runway. I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I was excited, apprehensive, sort of scared. The takeoff was kind of cool. I liked the takeoff. I mean, you taxi down the runway, get to your takeoff point, and then you hear the engines rev up, and then all of a sudden you start, going down the runway, getting faster, 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 and then all of a sudden you can feel the plane sort of lift up off the ground, sort of like a roller coaster and feeling in a way. It lifts up off the ground, and you can just feel. And I looked out the window and I could see everything getting smaller and smaller. Got up into the clouds. I had to keep swallowing to clear my ears as it ascended up into the sky. Another thing I noticed is you hear this constant humming of the engines, which I guess is a good thing. I also noticed that once we got up in the air and they said that we could take our seatbelts off and everything, I tried to connect to my mobile data. We were so high up, there was no way a signal was going to reach me. So we started descending, which of course my ears started popping again. And the guy next to me was so nice to allow me to take, some videos outside the window. I was talking about videos. If you haven't seen my 3 earlier videos that I made about my trip, go watch them and come back and watch this one, because then you'll know more about what's going on. I did use the bathroom while we were in the air, and that was an experience with there wasn't that much turbulence, but there was a little bit of rocking back and forth. Inside the bathroom was like a closet. It was really tiny. It was a strange sensation to be walking, but at the same time moving. My seat was next to the wing, and I kept looking out there on the wing when we were flying, and I could see the wing vibrating, and whenever we hit little air pockets, the wing would just vibrate. But then when we came in to land, noise in the cabin was it sounded like something was breaking, but it was only the wheels coming down. And then when we landed, it's and then it was suddenly, all of a sudden, it was the brakes were put on, and you could and then you could slowly feel it slowing down, which was my first experience. I thought it was kind of interesting. Would I do it again? Yeah, I'd do it again. But for my first flight, I thought it was nice. I enjoyed it. I wasn't scared at all. But anyway, we came into Austin, and people, were unboarding. And when it got to my section, I went and I got my backpack and got everything on and joined the rest of them unloading. Now, the one thing I noticed about Austin, Texas airport was that they put gangplanks up to the plane, and you had to walk down these gangplanks, which you would see in my other videos. And as soon as I hit that, the heat hit me. I mean, it was 92 degrees that day when we landed. And as soon as I hit that gangplank to walk down off the airplane, that heat just hit me hard. And I was like, oh, wow, welcome to Texas. So yeah, that's about it for this one. So until next time, stay safe, be kind, and I'll see you next time. Bye.